A Week from Retirement, written by Alistair Linsell. Interior Police Station Day, PC Steve Carter, 47. Overweight with ruddy cheeks, sits at a computer terminal. He is reading caravan sales websites with a contented smile on his face. He picks up a pen and crosses the day off on the calendar. The end of the week is circled and says retirement. Sergeant Phillips walks past.
Getting superstitious?
Nothing ever happens around here.
Steve leans back in his chair. Underneath one of the wheels is straining.
And that suits me just fine.
The wheel snaps. Flailing, Steve crashes to the floor, bringing down a pile of paperwork and a mug of cold black coffee with him. Phillips laughs, but not unkindly. Behind him, PC Danny Bridges looks down on Steve with disdain. Steve smiles at Danny, who rolls his eyes and walks away.
Don't worry, I'll get myself up.
Steve gets up. His eyes flick to the calendar.
I'll be fine.
Exterior, village centre day. The sun shines as Steve walks past a set of well-kept flower beds. Steve waves good morning to a vicar, then steps back to let a gaggle of primary school children on bikes rush past. Steve helps an old lady cross the road while a bus waits. It takes a while. Interior, Dell's Cafe, day. Steve is enjoying a large fry-up. Dell appears with a frying pan.
Extra sausage?
Go on.
Exterior, canal, towpath, day. Steve chastises a youth spraying graffiti on a wall. The youth steals his hat. Steve shouts and chases after him. Police car, evening. Steve speeds along, sirens blaring. Beside Steve sits two wrapped-up portions of fish and chips. Exterior, Steve's house, evening. Steve's police car screeches to a halt in his drive. At the door stands his wife, Julie, with a disapproving look on her face. Steve pulls out the fish and chips and smiles. Interior, Steve's house, later. Steve and Julie are on the sofa watching telly.
I looked at caravans today. What's wrong with caravans?
Nothing. It's just not the most adventurous of retirement plans.
It's got proper aircon and everything. We'll be the envy of the Cleethorpes Riviera.
Interior, school assembly day. Steve stands in front of an audience of primary school children with their hands raised to ask questions. Steve points at Toby.
Do you catch baddies?
Oh yes, all the time.
Like who?
Well, this week there was a chap parked in a disabled spot without a badge.
I mean, real baddies.
Real baddies.
Like robbers or murderers.
We've never had a murder, which is good because I don't cope well with the sight of blood.
If there was one, do you reckon you'd catch them?
I think we're done with the questions.
Interior, police station day. Sergeant Phillips is assigning duties to the squad.
Last thing, a call about a disturbance up in the woods. Probably just the kids, but we need someone to check it out.
Sign it to Steve. He could do with the exercise.
You shut your mouth.
None of that. Officially, we're an inclusive workforce, so there's no fat shaming here. Unofficially, Danny has a point, so off you go.
Exterior, woodland day. Steve huffs and puffs as he climbs an incline. He stops to catch his breath and spots a caravan ahead. The door is ajar. Steve approaches the caravan.
Hello?
Steve hesitates for a moment, then pushes the door open and steps inside. Interior, caravan continuous. The caravan is dimly lit. Steve is impressed.
Lots of storage space in here.
Behind Steve, a cupboard door pops open and a body slams onto the floor. Steve jumps out of his skin, whirls round and then clocks the body. He immediately turns away, shielding his eyes. Slowly, he turns back. He takes the hand away from his eyes and glances down. The throat has been cut and there is blood everywhere. He instantly looks away.
No. Oh, God.
Steve retches, then projectile vomits all over the body. Steve stops, catches his breath, looks down, and is instantly sick again. Exterior caravan later. Steve is sitting on a log, looking pale. Behind him, forensics are going in and out of the caravan.
What the hell were you playing at?
Wasn't playing at anything.
And why is my crime scene swimming in vomit?
I don't cope well with blood.
Yeah, I could tell that from the fact that most of the evidence we got is bags of sick.
Phillips holds up an evidence bag that contains mainly sick.
Why didn't you throw up outside the caravan?
It fell out the cupboard. I saw all the blood.
Steve stops looking like he might be sick again. Phillips rolls his eyes.
Listen, you've contaminated a crime scene. There's going to be an investigation, so pull yourself together. Get back to the station and get your story straight.
Exterior village centre later. Steve walks back through the village centre, looking troubled. He spots Stell's cafe and smiles, relief flooding his face. He walks towards the cafe where a van pulls across his path. Two men in balaclavas leap out. They grab Steve to the van.
No, I just want a cup of tea.
Interior warehouse day. Steve is tied to a chair, shaking with fear, with a bag over his head. The bag is pulled off. In front of Steve sits Eddie Little, 56, flanked by two goons.
I trust you know who I am.
No.
Don't be cute with me.
No, seriously, I have no idea. I'm guessing crime lord? I mean, you've got henchmen.
My name's Eddie Little. I run most of the drugs in and out of this county and several others.
Steve looks nonplussed.
I'm number 2 on your force's most wanted list.
Oh, you, off the list. Didn't you beat a guy to death with a cricket bat?
That's a lie. It was a baseball bat. Now, why are you destroying the evidence of my right-hand man's murder?
What? No, it was... I don't cope well with blood.
I might have to test that theory.
Eddie's henchmen brandish a baseball bat.
Oh, no, God, please. I'll tell you everything I know.
Good. Which is?
Nothing. I haven't got a clue what's going on. This morning I was doing stop, look, listen with year 4.
Eddie gives Steve a hard stare.
You aren't very bright.
No.
Let me tell you what's going on here. You're being fitted up.
What?
My competition's moved on me. Word has it they're meeting at the canal with someone on the inside from your force, someone who wants you to take the fall.
Interior police station flashback to briefing.
Sign it to Steve. You could use the exercise.
Interior police station flashback to opening. Danny Bridges looks down on Steve with disdain. Steve smiles at Danny, who rolls his eyes and walks away. Interior warehouse present. Realization crashes over Steve.
Danny bloody Bridges.
Ah, so you are a bit bright. Best of luck clearing your name. Should you be successful, I can always find space in my organization for friendly faces, such as yourself.
Exterior canal towpath day. Steve gets out of the van and runs down to the towpath. School children on bikes pull up.
Off catching baddies.
Yes, I am.
He looks down the length of the canal and spots Danny in plain clothes on a canal boat, talking to a large skinhead in a leather coat. Steve races down the towpath.
Hey, you! You'll never get away with this.
Danny and the skinhead notice Steve running along the towpath, gaining on them. They look at each other in bemusement. Steve is now alongside them.
You're both under arrest.
Danny notches the throttle very slightly forward. Steve is running out of breath. The barge pulls away. Steve is gasping, his face racked in anguish. Another barge approaches from the opposite direction. It's the vicar.
Vicar, I need to commandeer your barge for police business.
Oh, how exciting.
Vicar's barge, Day. Steve does a 7-point turn, getting the canal boat to face the opposite direction. They finally finish.
Right, punch it.
The throttle goes forward and they give chase. Steve's face is a mask of grim determination. The vicar is thrilled. The other boat comes into view. Baddie's barge, continuous, intercut. Danny punches the throttle forward. Both barges are now creating bow waves. They turn a corner and in front of them towers a closed lock gate. Danny slams his boat into reverse. Steve hands the tiller to the vicar and climbs along the side of the boat to the front. The gap closes. Steve reaches the front of the boat as they collide. Baddie's barge, continuous. The skinhead falls over, hits his head on a door and is knocked out. Steve tackles Danny to the floor.
I've got you now, you devious.
Danny uses the jiu-jitsu move to pin Steve on his back. He applies a chokehold and squeezes.
Did you really think you could put me down?
I'm not a very good policeman.
And you came without backup.
Sirens. Police swarm at the top of the lock, led by Sergeant Phillips.
I'm not a very good policeman, so of course I called for backup.
Exterior canal towpath later. The skinhead and Danny are taken away in cuffs. The vicar is talking animatedly as he gives a statement. Phillips walks up to Steve looking stern.
About the investigation, Sarge. I had nothing to do with...
Oh, I know.
You do?
Steve, I know you reasonably well. And the one thing you lack is the capacity to successfully execute a criminal conspiracy.
That sounded like a compliment.
I'm not sure it is, but it's definitely a good thing.
Interior Dell's Cafe, Day. Steve is enjoying a cup of tea. Eddie Little sits down opposite him.
Things turned out well for you.
Yeah, pretty good.
Delighted you gave me a call. You in?
Police cars pull up outside the cafe. Eddie leaps up and heads for the back exit when Phillips appears and collars him.
Not sure it's really for me.
Exterior Steve's house, evening. Steve has his hands over Julie's eyes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Steve takes his hands away, revealing a tandem bicycle.
What about the caravan?
I've gone off caravans. Besides, I need to get fitter and it seemed more adventurous. Want to take it for a test ride?
Steve and Julie cycle into the sunset. As they do, the primary school children cycle past.